Why is everyone portraying USA as an extremely dangerous country to live? Hello, I am a 21-year-old woman from India. I am exploring options to study and move to abroad in a while. United States was an option on my list and I was aligned to it. But lately all I am seeing is threats related to USA. Guns, crimes, etc. I am not criticizing USA. Even I would like to move to USA, but everything people are saying and the news is making me scared. People living in USA. Please tell me about it. I would really like your opinions on living in USA. Is daily life that unsafe? Are shootings happening that badly? The shootings are awful and frequent. But the USA is also massive. Not every place is as dangerous and there are states with lower rates of gun crime. In my area I can't even safely walk outside during the day. Shootings have occurred multiple times on the street next to mine. At the store I went to the other day there was a violent robbery ongoing whilst I was in it. But not every place in the USA is the same and many it is safe for the most part. I'm in my 40s and I've never witnessed a murder or known anyone that has been murdered. I haven't been in a fight since I was in high school. It's not like there's shootings going on all around if you walk down the street. Not in most areas, at least. There's some really bad areas that I just wouldn't go to, but that's probably the same in most large countries. I feel pretty safe going outside or walking down the street. Maybe take a vacation and come check it out. It's way overblown. Unfortunately for some people, but fortunately for most immigrants. The people most affected by crime and violence in America are the disenfranchised. Take Chicago. Worst gun violence in the US. Sounds dangerous. But something truly astounding, like 90% of the gun violence happens in just a few neighborhoods, which people just avoid entirely. The US is segregated in a million different ways. And one of them makes mostly poorer people experience the worst crime. I wouldn't really consider safety a serious concern. Just do your research before moving into a neighborhood. Mayor. USA is big. My experience, I've never been shot at, but have seen 2 gang-related shootings and my mom was at the Vegas mass shooting. I live in Philadelphia and have never personally witnessed anything. The mass shootings are extremely rare. Just like your country, America is large and varied. The relative safety level even within a large city, let's say NYC or Delhi, can be extreme even within a quarter of a mile. The US is so large that you can't really describe the crime rate of the country as a whole. Yes, there are very dangerous cities. Yes, there are some sketchy towns. But the vast majority of the country, from what I can tell, isn't as crime-ridden as it might seem. You won't run into these situations constantly. Daily life requires owning a car, and I have a friend in Atlanta that told me if someone threatens you, they probably have a gun. The country is really big, so you see all kinds of stuff depending on where you are, but India isn't that different in that regard. Plenty of unsafe areas in that country as well. Not an American. The US is safer than much of the world, but seems to be shit when compared to other developed countries. Like 5-7 times the murder rate. You will be fine. It's all about the area, neighborhood you move into. Majority of people here do not experience gun violence. This comment is not diminishing the tragic and horrific events that have happened. Depending on where you live, the US can be safe. But there are lots of other issues, like healthcare. It's criticized in comparison to other first world developed nations to which it performs poorly on. nearly every metric apart from gross salary. The richest nation on earth shouldn't have these problems. It really depends on where you go, honestly. I live in an area where half the people are on drugs and there's murders every week. But I've been to plenty of really nice places too. Big cities obviously have higher crime. But there are plenty of nice towns and cities that are really safe. Just avoid the higher crime cities if you're trying to stay away from it. Depends where you live, you should do a bit of research. 99% of the US is safe to live though. The most I've dealt with is an unruly homeless person. Mass shootings. Discrimination still. Homicides higher than ever in every major city. Yes, it is bad. America is a dumpster fire and will get a lot worse before it's better. As a woman, the only times I feel unsafe are when I'm walking alone at dusk in sketchy places. Or just when I'm in sketchy places. It's really easy for me to avoid that. And yet, I work in the ghetto and still feel pretty safe. Lived in the ghetto for a while and felt pretty safe, and have worked with homeless people since I was 12 and have been felt safe. You'd be fine if you came here. I've lived in some bad neighborhoods, Albany Park in Chicago and Oak Cliff in Dallas the past few years. Despite all the hype, it's only really dangerous if you get involved with criminal business, do hard drugs, drunk drive, or get close to men with anger management issues. That's how most people 1544 in the US end up getting killed. That last one is a doozy though. Especially for women. Gang banging, drug dealing, sex trafficking, organized crime, extortion, etc. Opiates, speed meth, crack cocaine. Depending on your list of visible traits, America can be one of the safest or most dangerous places. Trans people are especially under threat at this moment in time, but in particular, women of every category are slowly having their rights assaulted. I have no idea. Maybe because everyone's armed and we have a lot of shootings and road rage. Because of the insane murder rate, which is higher than the average of the whole Europe. The overwhelming vast majority of the United States is as safe or safer than Canada, most of Europe, etc. We have a handful of about 5-6 cities where violence is really bad that severely skews our averages. Maybe it's the multiple mass shootings a day. Or the rampant racism, bigotry and xenophobia. Little things like that. It's dangerous in certain parts of certain cities. If you're expecting a salary in the six-figure plus range, you're very unlikely to encounter any of it unless you go slumming. Honestly, the US is pretty safe. There are alarmists who will make it out to be a bigger deal. But even in schools, a student is much more likely to die by a pencil-based accident than be involved in a shooting, much less shot. If you're a woman, LGBTQ, or person of color, there are lots of people wanting to take your rights away. And some even want to kill you. Gun death is high, especially in states with stupid gun laws. Day to day, you will likely not have an issue. But you never know. I always check out where emergency exits are just in case. Today is the day my town has a mass shooting. Because murder or attack statistics include gang violence, which is insanely high. Plus suicide is included. Pretty great place to live. I am surrounded in my neighborhood by your fellow countrymen, women, country people. And they are the best people I know. Join us. There's a house for sale down the street. It is. We have more mass shootings than days every year. Compared to India, it's so much safer it's not even funny.